Here we are back again in the saddle. By popular request, pal. By popular request. When you thought you were out of the game, they pull you back in.
You get sucked right back in.
Folks, it's us. It is Mosh. It is Sez with a much more relaxed, a much more chill, a much more we're just hanging out version of the Mosh and Sez show. We haven't talked in a while. Things got
Yeah.
busy.
So things got busy. Things got crazy. Life gets in the way. They say shit happens. Life happens. And yeah. So let's just. I mean, the point of this is literally for us to just shoot the shit and catch up with things and talk about the stuff going on in our life, and that's pretty much it. So
Yeah, it gives Chaz and I an excuse to talk to each other since we're one of the few people the other one actually likes.
right.
And people can be entertained by it. A lot of folks ask, "Hey, what happened to the show? You guys coming back?" But here we are, And I want to start off real quick because we literally haven't talked since the last time we recorded. We've texted a few times.
Right.
But you have a 21-year-old now, dude.
Dude, crazy.
You have a 21-year-old son.
I mean, you've known Ty since he was little. I mean, we've
Yeah.
known each other, what, 15 years, something like that?
Yeah, 15, 16 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, 21. And it was great because I said to him, I said, because his birthday was on Easter, which made it a little difficult to do things, because it's Easter. And he was up at school, which is, Orlando at UCF. And I said to him, like, I want to buy you your first legal drink. Now, he's in a fraternity, he's in college. I know he's had beverages, but I wanted to buy him his first legal alcoholic beverage.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm coming up on Sunday. I said, I'm going to come up and, whether it's dinner or something, I said, but I don't want to just come up and just have dinner and buy you a drink and then drive home because, it's a 2.5 to 3 hour drive for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, let's do a park. You want to do Universal and his response was, if we're going to do a park, he goes, let's go to Epcot and drink around the world.
That's an experienced young man there.
Yeah, and I've actually never done that either. So to me, I've never drank. I mean, I've walked through Epcot, but I've never done the let's stop and get a drink and that whole thing. I've never done that. So his mother came over. We drove up together, and then my brother and my sister-in-law were still down. So it was all 5 of us.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we all met right by the boardwalk and walked in that back entrance to Epcot, the boardwalk, the hotel right there at Disney.
So you guys walked in right through France?
We walked in and England was right there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so as we're walking, all 5 of us were walking up. I said to Tyler, I said, so what would you like your first legal beverage to be? He goes, whatever country we go to first, he goes, that's what I'll have. I said, well, because Uncle John and I always go through this entrance because we like going right to England. And the first thing we do is we double fist Guinness. So Guinness is going to be your first drink. He goes, then a Guinness is my first legal drink. So we go in and it was great because, I ordered the 5 Guinnesses for the 5 of us. And then I said, Tyler was standing there and I'm like, then my brother ran back and bought one of the birthday pins and put his name on it. 21st, made him wear it, which he didn't want to wear at all. And then we said to the bartender, we're like, hey, it's his birthday today. He is 21. So she was like, oh, let me see your ID. So we have pictures of like him getting his ID checked and everything. So, we got pictures of us drinking the Guinness together and, cheersing and toasting, whatever. And then about halfway through the Guinness, he's like, Dad, he goes, not a big beer guy. He goes, and I go, fine, I'll finish it. So I finished it. But then we started going around and like we went to Canada and I'm like, I'm not drinking a Labatt's Blue. Like, what? Like, I'm not, and I'm not a big beer guy either. I'd rather have, do a shot of tequila or, sip some Tito's with some pineapple, juice in it, stuff like that. So then from there, we hit Mexico.
Oh, boy.
We're getting a little shady because Tyler likes tequila. So we did shots of tequila, I think 2 or 3. And then we started just roaming around even more. But the great
Wait, hold hold on, you guys didn't do any of the margaritas?
No, Tyler didn't want a margarita.
Oh,
He's very much into his body, working out and
mm,
eating. And he doesn't want to and he had an acne issue going on. So he really cut down like what he was eating and sugar and stuff like that. And his acne is
mm.
clearing up and he's contributing that to, the food, what he's been eating. So he doesn't like all the sugar and stuff. So,
Well, next time you and I go, there's an avocado margarita there, dude. That is,
ooh,
it sounds questionable, but I'm telling you, Chaz,
no,
it's
I love avocado. So
yeah.
that
So you
sounds
guys kept
good.
going. Did you guys legit drink around the world?
We hit every country. I think we got a drink in every country but two or three. Because if it was like, a beer, then it was like we went to we got to Germany and it was like
Mm.
beer and brat. Like no, so but we walked around and checked everything out. I thought it was really cool. We got to Italy and Tyler was like, "What's this sambuca stuff?" I'm like, "Woo-hoo!"
Oh.
So and it was cool too because every time we went up to it, there was one country, is Scandinavia there.
I
There,
don't believe so.
Norway,
Norway.
Norway.
Norway. Yeah.
So they had this slushy drink out front, and it was like slushy. It was some kind of like a Slurpee with rum in it. And I said to him,
Ooh.
"I go, do you want to try it?" And every time I said to him, "Do you want to try it?" He went, "Okay." He was like, "Okay."
Attaboy, dude.
But the slushy thing, I took 3 sips, and literally the sugar felt like it was caked on my teeth, and I was like, well, here's $15 in the garbage. But he finished the whole thing. He was like, I'm drinking everything. He goes, except the Guinness. He goes, because I just was making me feel full, which Guinness is thick.
Yeah.
Um, but it was amazing. We had such a great time. And that was the best part was he was into it and he was like, no, let's do another one. And then, the funniest part was he was into it. But when he was done because we all got a little buzz going. But
Yeah.
he got to the point where he was like, all right, I'm done. I don't want any more. My brother's like, come on, let's go back to Mexico and do more shots of tequila. And Tyler was like, no, Uncle John, I'm done. Like, I don't want any more. And my brother was like, well, come on. I'm like, Ty, come on. Like, we're here. We got the hotel. Like, you can crash in the hotel. And he's like, I am done. He goes, I don't want any more alcohol. Like, we could not peer pressure him into drinking more.
Wow. Dude, that's good parenting, dude, because anyone else would have been like, I'll tell you this. So the twins, Ben and Dexter, are 15, so they're 6 years away from 21, and that's gonna be wild. But I'm calling dibs. I want to take you and Tyler to Tyler's first time legally drinking at Epcot Food and Wine, where they add even more countries.
Okay. Oh, they had
And
more countries.
they add a whole bunch of little kiosks that have like an appetizer, like two entrees, like a beer, or if they don't have beer in the country, it's like two alcoholic beverages.
Right.
It's
The
insane.
That sounds awesome. I've heard about that. The only downfall we had was we got through everything and then we got hungry. So we
Mm.
went back to China to get Chinese food. Once we sat and then ate, then it was like, I'm ready for a nap. And then we were walking and like we're getting tired. Eventually Tyler was like, I'm done. Like I need a nap. He's like, I'm just and then it was his actual birthday. So he had other friends that wanted to take him out and meet him
he went
out.
out. He went out after a day at Epcot with you guys.
We went back to the hotel. I think we got back to the hotel probably around 7 or 8, and he took like a 45-minute power nap. Yeah, and then he went out and met his friends.
Holy cow, dude!
Yeah, yeah,
And then you said his mom went. Did Gabby drink with you guys around the world too, or no?
yeah. She drank. Yeah,
Oh
she
my
drank.
god! I Dude, I can't believe you guys on Easter.
On Easter. Yeah, I
On
was like,
Easter.
because I told him, I said, I know, like he had a fraternity thing that weekend, and I was like, listen, if your friend, I said, I just want to buy you your first. If you happen to be out like after midnight and someone buys you a drink, just lie to me. This is the one time I'll accept a lie. I want to know and think that I bought you your first legal. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And I got to do it. It was amazing.
No, that's what I'm so happy for you, pal. Yeah, I tried to get you guys because I the hookups I get, but Easter was just out of the question.
Yeah, Easter was tough, but you know what? It is what it is. It was
Was
what
it
it was,
packed?
and it actually wasn't that bad.
Huh.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was because it was Easter. The weather was gorgeous. It was so nice out. I literally thought it would have been crazy packed and bumping into people and sweaty, but it wasn't. I mean, it was a little crowded, but I've seen it a lot worse. It wasn't as bad as I expected.
And Chaz, you guys didn't do any of the rides, right? You guys was just there.
Well, we did. We did this was the other mistake we made, I guess. We did it after we ate. We did what's it, Mars?
Oh yeah, the mission space.
Yeah, the mission space, and we did Mars. It's supposed to be a little bumpier than the other one. So we're walking in, and my brother gets very claustrophobic. So he looks into the thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to meet you guys down there." So he didn't even do the ride.
John chickened out.
John chickened out. Yes. He's like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah. That ride is. I can't believe you did it after all that drinking and after eating, dude.
And that was part of it too. Afterwards, we were like, because then we were kind of walking, and that's when Tyler was like, he goes, "I'm supposed to meet my friends," and I'm like, "Ty, it's your birthday. We hit everything." Like, for me, the day was complete. The day was complete after England, after I bought him his first.
Yeah, when you had the Guinness.
But Gab wanted to do. She likes tequila also, so we had to. That was her thing of doing tequila with Tyler, so she bought tequila shots for him and stuff like that. So it was cool.
That's awesome, man. The tequila, the avocado cocktail is good. I like they have plum sake in Japan in one of the places there. That's really good too.
So we got we stopped at Japan, and he did sake with me, and he was like, "Oh my God." He goes, "What is this?" I go, "It's amazing, isn't it?" He goes, "It tastes like," he goes, "I don't even know what it tastes like." I go, "It tastes like paint thinner. It's amazing, isn't it?"
Wait, did you do the hot sake or the cold sake with them?
We got cold sake.
Nice. Yeah,
normally, like if I go to get sushi, I'm getting hot sake all day long. I like sake. I like the no taste of it for some odd reason. But I only like it with sushi. So I got a little thing of sushi. Tyler loves edamame, so he had some edamame, and we sipped the sake, and then then we moved on. But yeah, so it was just.
Dude, hell yeah!
It's like I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but it was. I still look at him sometimes as like a 10-year-old.
No, of course.
To see him out and then seeing him have adult conversations with people. But it was funny after the third country, because my brother was actually worse than I was with him. Because every single time he's like, "It's his birthday. It's his birthday. Today's his 21st birthday." And finally, after the third country, he turned around and he goes, "All right, enough. Can you just stop, please? Like, enough."
Dude, that's a grown-ass man.
He is a grown-ass man.
I mean, not only from attitude and what you're saying. I saw the picture you posted at the pub in England, dude. He is freaking towering over you.
Yeah, he's a good 6'4".
God, he's my height.
He's 6'3", 6'4". Yeah, he's taller than I am.
Dude, that's crazy.
He's taller than I am, but when we hang out every single time, I do take him down and tie him up just to remind him that he still can't beat me. Yeah, it's great.
Speaking of taking people down and reminding them who's the boss, you remember the time you and Glenn ran into me at Universal?
Yes.
And you guys literally took me down at Jurassic Park, and someone snapped a picture of you guys standing on my face.
Yes, we're beating you up in the park.
And the best part of that was, so you walked off. I think you were meeting somebody. Glenn and I walked for a little bit longer. Oh, I think you went to use the bathroom, and Glenn pulls the whole, "Hey, want to see something funny?" And I knew I should have said no, but Glenn's like, oh my god, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? I'm like, what the hell? And he's talking to me. He's like, "Oh my god, can I get a picture?" And all of a sudden, this mob of people that are like, "What the? Well, we don't know who this is, but hey, can I get a picture?" And Glenn just like prances off, giggling to himself like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, that's Glenn. That's Glenn. He's got to be that center of attention.
But hey, this is a good segue for something I did want to ask. Okay. Speaking of center of attention, you have something that I do know last time we texted is the whole center of attention in your life right now. And I believe there's a stack of papers you have. I saw you fiddling with on your desk there.
Yeah, before we got on, I was doing some editing.
So
So
you
we talk
literally have
about
to go through. And what we're talking about, gang, is Chaz's book. Chaz is writing a book. The last episode that we had of the Mosh Sez show, we mentioned it, but now it's coming to fruition,
it.
pal. So can you
It's
show us a stack?
it's very real. As of now, it's called Beneath the Skirt.
God, dude, that's awesome.
Um, so what happened was I started this probably 5 or 6 years ago. Just wrote off and on. It was more off than on. And then I don't know if I shared this with you or not, or before if we talked about it. I went up for a high school reunion,
Oh, yep.
and there's a girl there who
Mhm.
turns out that I knew, and she is an editor slash ghostwriter. That's what she does. So I started talking to her, and it was actually another classmate that said, "Hey, you need to talk to Tori. This is what she does." And I was like, "Oh," so we started talking, and she's like, "Oh my God," she goes, "I would love to work with you on that project." She goes, I think it would be amazing. So, we worked it out, and, everything happens for a reason. Timing's everything, and everything happens for a reason. Because, like I said, I was more off than on. Like, I was like, oh, I felt like writing, like I would write or type or whatever. And, it was kind of just, I guess, a half-ass hobby. Um, but when she started reading it and she started telling me, she goes, "This is really good." Now, I've given other people like snippets of it, and they read it and like, "Oh yeah, that's good." But she was like, "No," she goes, "This is really good." She goes, "I definitely want to work on this with you." So with her working on it with me, it kind of pushed me to do it more, because
Mm.
now I'm paying someone to do it, and she's telling me it's really good. I'm like, all right, I want to get this done. So it was maybe 3 months ago. She said to me, she goes, "It's time that we start looking at." Now I'm still writing and she's editing. And what we did was we share a Dropbox folder, and I just have it saved in there. And I just keep writing, and she's just behind me editing. And she told me, she goes, "Just keep writing." She goes, "And we can go through the edits later." And I'm like, okay. So she's like crossing out with what's good, what's not, like asking me questions, expand on this, expand on that. Is this really needed? It was stuff like that.
Mm.
So then she said to me, she goes, "It's probably time that we start looking at publishers, at least to get their interest, to see what their interest would be." So I said, okay. So we researched some different things and had a couple different companies in mind. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, I'm under this contract with WWE. Why don't I just call them? And because in my mind, I'm like, this would be the easiest way to get it published if WWE would publish it. I'm under a contract with them. We negotiate something, work something out, and then I just get paid royalties on it. I mean,
Yeah, you didn't tell me this part.
so it was a no-brainer. So I called WWE. I talked to John Cohn, our talent relations guy, and he put me in touch with the top guy who does all the publishing for WWE.
Hmm.
And he shared with me that I got to turn this off. There we go. He shared with me that they're not doing books anymore, or at least right now. Not right now. He said, but there's other things they're doing. Like they have the Topps cards out right now, and there's different things they have. They're just not doing books right now. So anyway, he said, but I know someone at ECW Publishing, which was actually top on my list. ECW Publishing's out of Canada. It has nothing to do with ECW wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So because ECW Wrestling did Hornswoggle did Dylan's book. So I did research on them. Like they did a lot of wrestlers' books. So I talked to the senior guy there, Michael Holmes, and I sent it to him. And I talked to him, and he goes, "Listen," he was very matter of fact and like not excited about it at all.
Oh,
And he said,
jeez.
he goes, "I'm just being honest with you, Chaz." And I get it. He goes, "I'm just being honest with you." He goes, "I can't tell you how many people say to me, I had this book, it's going to sell 1 million copies." He goes, and then they sent it over to me, and I'm like, this is fifth grade fucking garbage. So he goes, "No offense." He goes, "But, send me over what you want." He goes, "I'll take a look at it." He goes, if it's a good fit," he goes, we'll have another meeting." So I said, no big deal. So I had about 50 pages that were like legit edited, like scripted down and formatted, the whole thing. I sent that over to him. This was President's Weekend. I spoke to him on Friday before President's Day. President's Day here, obviously, is a holiday, but that day he's in Canada. So that day in Canada was actually a holiday also.
Mm.
So that night, that Monday, so I sent it to him Friday. That Monday night, I got a text from him. He goes, so I had off today. He goes, being the holiday here, he goes, I had off. He goes, I was able to read what you sent me. He goes, I think it's amazing. He goes,
Oh,
he goes, we need to talk. So I said, okay. So we got on a call, and he said to me, he goes, I shared with you, what I thought about, what people have told me about their books and stuff like that. And I said to him, I go, listen, I didn't never said I had a million selling book here. I just said I was writing a book, and I'd be interested if you were to publish it. I go, I never said it was good or bad. I said, I don't know if it's any good. He goes, it's really good. He goes, it's really well written. He goes, it's very refreshing to read. He goes, what I love about it, because what I sent him was the very beginning of, because how it's kind of broken out is the book starts with when I went back to WWE in 2016.
okay.
I started with that, and then I stop it. And then I go into when I started at the Monster Factory and how I got into the Monster Factory and what got me there, how I started. And then I went through like my first TV match with Adam Bomb. And then I stop it and I went right, and then I skip it and I went to like WrestleMania 13, our first WrestleMania.
Nice.
That's kind of the portion that I sent him. And so he said to me, he goes, it's very refreshing. He goes, one of the things I like about it, he goes, is your perspective. He goes, you're talking about it. He goes, I felt like I was right next to you. He goes, let me give you an example. He said, you talked about your match with Legion of Doom with LOD when they came back after 4 years. He goes, you talked about how you talked to them about the match. Then you went through the match and you're going through the match. He goes, what I loved about it, he goes, you just got the shit beat out of you by LOD. You took their finisher. You're laying on the mat, and you're sitting there mentioning how you had to cover your face because you were in the ring laughing and smiling because you were in the ring with LOD and you just took their finisher.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He goes, that perspective is so refreshing to read. He goes, I love it. He goes, I want more. He goes, how much can you send me? And I said to him, and I told him about how many pages I had. And, we got into more details about it. I said, I'll send you everything I have. I go, but it's not edited. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I can read through the edits. He goes, because we're going to have an editing team and blah, blah, blah. He goes, just send it to me. Whatever you want to send me, send me. I go, I'm going to send you all of it. I sent him all of it. 3 weeks later, it was about 3 weeks later, he called me back and he goes, I absolutely love this. He goes, I want more. He goes, I want to read more. And I said, do you want me to send you more? He goes, no. He goes, there's only one worry I have. He goes, I'm invested. He goes, I'm vested in hearing your story. He goes, my concern is, because how I want to do it, my idea was, again, start with 2016, go through my whole story to when my contract expired in January of 2002, and then finish the 2016 story. That's all I want to do.
I love that. What a framing device. That's awesome.
But he said to me, and this makes sense. It'll probably make sense when I say it to you. He said, my concern is, he goes, I want to know what happened to you after you left 2002. He goes, how did you get to where you are now? What did you do when you left? And he goes, it doesn't have to be another giant book. He goes, but it needs to, he goes, I feel it needs to be in here. He goes, at least I want to know. He goes, and my worry is if you put this out there the way you want to do it, people at the end are going to read and go, so what happened? Like, what happened between 2002 and 2016 and 2025? Like, how did you get to where you are now? Like, what
I get it.
You have on your life and all that stuff. He goes, are you open to writing about post WWE? And I said, never thought about it. I go, but I'm open to it. And he goes, here's my vow to you. He goes, if you're committed to finishing this book, I said, well, I'm committed to finishing the book. I hired an editor and I'm talking to you. So yes, I'm committed to finishing the book. And he's like, fair enough. He goes, if you commit to doing something about post WWE after you leave in 2002, he goes, then I promise you, I commit to you that we'll get this book published.
There you go.
He goes, so finish up to 2002. and you're ending the 2016. He goes, then send that to me. He goes, and then we can talk some kind of deal, advance percentages, whatever it is. He goes, then we can talk. He goes, and then I need you to write post 2002. He goes, and then we can decide, do we need this in this book, or could that be a whole nother project? The other part he said to me was, I need to get it down. He goes, it needs to be around 95,000 words tops. And I started laughing. And he goes, I know. At this point, I was at over 100,000 words.
Holy cow.
So I said to him, I said, I know stuff's going to have to be cut out. Stuff's going to have to be eliminated. I said, I know, like, he's like, yeah. He goes, our team will be able to take, parts of your story and trim it down to make it tighter and stuff like that. I said, my thought was the stuff that was taken out and not in there, I said, maybe I can use that for a second book if this sells. I said, like there's a lot of stories in here, like when I met celebrities, when I met,
your Pete Rose story.
Yeah, it's in here. When I met, we met Burt Reynolds, stories like that. Maybe they don't need to be in here to tell my story. I mean, the Pete Rose story needs to be in here. But
it does.
I said, there's different parts of it. I said that I thought maybe, could be. He goes, absolutely. He goes, and if I feel your what you send me doesn't need the post WWE story, he goes, maybe we can take that for another project.
No, that's awesome.
So, with all that being said, this is the entire first draft, all 270 pages.
Would you?
Hold on. 270 pages and 141,000 words.
Golly. And you got to get down to what, 90, 95?
Well, I'm not getting it down to 90. They're going to do it. The editing team with the publisher will say, no, this can come out, that can stay, this can come out, and they'll figure all that out. So what I did was, like I said, the original rough draft is done. My editor has gone through the entire thing. So what I've done is I've printed it out, because now I'm going through and marking with red pen, like I cross stuff out, and then I'm putting question marks, like, do I really need this in the story? And then I'm reading it, and my editor said this to me also. What Tori said this to me, she goes, your writing when you first started it 5 or 6 years ago is different than your writing now. She goes, you can see your writing getting better as you go along. So I'm going back in the beginning and like changing words and doing stuff like that. So my goal is, out of 270 pages, I only have 107 pages left to read.
Wow.
And my goal is to have that done by the end of this week, and then get on the computer and mark the changes up, send it back to her one more time for her to blow through it, and then get it off to the publisher. And the greatest part about this whole thing is, on New Year's Day, I was out at camp. Can't quit your bitching. I did a video, and I posted the video, and I said, I don't like New Year's resolutions. I like to make goals. My goal this year is to have the book done and be signed with a publisher by the end of May. I said that New Year's Day. It's May 5th. This shit's going to be done.
It's going to be done, baby. Look at that shit, man. That's awesome.
That's the basis of that's where I'm at with the book. So, and again, I don't know how long it takes. I haven't got this far. Once something's signed and I have a deal in place, then I'll ask more questions. But my biggest question is going to be, how soon can we get this published and out for sale? Because in my mind, I would love to have it out for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. That's smart.
Get it out like October, November for Christmas. But again, I don't know how long it's going to take them to do their edits and all the other stuff. So,
well, I was going to ask. I know. We talked about we don't want to go too long and stuff. But I did want to ask if you would read us something from the book. Would you be up for it? Do you want to wait for next time?
No, I can read.
Yeah.
since we're talking about it. So pick a page, any page from 1 to 270, and I'll read that page.
From 1 to 2. So read me page 200.
200. And I have no idea what's on this page.
I want to read it. I want to read it myself too.
I didn't bring my glasses.
Oh wait, I think you did email it to me, didn't you? I know you set a reminder. You set a reminder in your Alexa.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to. Page 200 starts. It starts with it's in the middle of a It's in the middle of a story.
Mm.
So I'm not even going to go to the beginning of the story. I'm going to go through this. I'm just going to read what's on this page, and it's going to be in the middle of a story, and then another story starts at the end of the page.
All right.
All right, you ready?
I'm in.
All right, here we go. I hope this makes some kind of sense.
You have the most captive audience right now.
All one of you. I love it. All right, so here we go. That I bought the 50-inch TV, was given a 40-inch TV. I left the impatient brother part out. And that I was there to return the 40 and get what I paid for the 50-inch. He said to me, "Oh, I thought you were a big WWF superstar now. You can't afford the 60-inch TV?" My first thought was, what an asshole, and I'd like to punch him. But I knew that wouldn't go over well, and probably something he would like to do to something. I didn't bring my glasses. Something he would like to do to me so he could have me locked up and press charges. Instead, I said, "You only have a 50-inch TV. There is no 60-inch." He said, "The 60s came in this morning, but there are more money. Can you afford it?" I asked him to show me the TV and how much extra it was. He showed me the TV, and it was $600 more than the 50-inch, which is crazy because you can buy an 85-inch TV now for like $400. I told him to put it on a cart, and I would meet him at the customer service desk. We were really politely being total assholes to each other, and I was really enjoying it. Yet somehow in the back of my head, I knew I was going to get the last word. Gary brought the TV up, and as they were doing the exchange, I pulled my wallet out and said, "Oh, shit, forgot my credit card." Gary got this disgusting, smug look on his face and said, "Well, I guess you can't afford this one, so I'll just put it back." I paused and then said, "Wait, hold a second." And I pulled a wad of money out of my fanny pack. Yes, my fanny pack. And I started counting out $100 bills and slamming them on the counter. I counted the 6 of them that I needed, counted what was left in my hand, and said, "Look at that. And I have enough money to buy everyone lunch. Gary, do me a favor and go load my new TV onto the back of my truck." This was the one and only time I ever acted like an asshole when it came to being in WWF and making some money. I didn't like him when I had to work for him, and there was no way I was going to miss out on an opportunity to not shove it back up his ass when that opportunity came up. I never forgot his words that day in the meeting. "Don't be a loser like Chaz. Be a winner like his opponent." Who's the loser now, Gary? So now, SummerSlam 1998.
Oh shit! One of my favorite pay-per-views.
Leading up to SummerSlam 98, the Headbangers weren't doing much and weren't involved in anything. We were wrestling in opening matches on house shows against the Midnight Express, the new Midnight Express, and non-title matches. Too Cool and another new faction called the Oddities. You can imagine how shocked I was to find out that we were going to be a part of SummerSlam. That's it. That's page 200.
Yeah, you had to. I love the fact that I knew that story about Gary because you used to work at that place and he was a
Sam's Club. He was my manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to put it back in there about the loser part, I was working there at Sam's Club when I first started wrestling. It's when I had my first TV match. My first match was against Adam Bomb. My first time I was shown on TV was the second match against Papa Shango. So, and we used to do every other week was pay week. So every other week on Friday morning at payday, they did a meeting and then they handed out everyone's checks. They did a club meeting. So that club meeting that morning, he got the tape and he showed the match. And at the end of the match, like everyone there was like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing! That's so awesome! Like, you know, you got to do that." Oh, like it was nothing but positive shit. And then his comment was, "Let's go out there today, have a great day, and don't be a loser. Don't be a loser like Chaz. Be a winner like his opponent was." And I
Wow.
went, "You cocksucker."
Yep.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. So there you go. That's page
Well,
200 of my book.
thank you for reading that, pal. Like I said, I really want to check it out. I'll check if you emailed it to me. If not, I'll bug you and have you send it. But before we wrap up, brand new shirt in the background.
Brand new shirt. Brand new shirt comes with a brand new website.
Oh.
So, which we can get into more later. But Chaz Mosh is the website, chazmosh.com. So go there, check it out. You can eventually, it's going to grow into more things, but I can get booked to do podcasts there. I can get booked to do shows. There's t-shirts on there. It takes you links to prowrestlingtees.com to get like cool shirts.
Hell yeah.
So it's all in there. So go to chazmosh.com, check it out, and then we can talk about it more later.
Hell yeah. Well, pal, I'm glad we did this. I'm glad the vibe has changed. Not so much pressure to, oh, we got to come up. You know, if wrestling stories come up. If this picks up 1 million viewers, then it doesn't. If it doesn't, I still get to hang with my pal, and we get to get the word out there.
We get to hang out and talk and chit chat and catch up and talk about what's going on in our lives, which is all that matters to you and I. So
exactly.
Yeah. If people like it, great. If they don't, then I don't really care.
Yeah, if you don't, then buzz off. But I love you, pal. We'll catch up next week again, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Hey, say hi to Tyler for me, please.
Will do. You say hi to everyone for me.
And good luck dealing with Amber's gas.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. All right. See you. Bye.
See you, pal.